Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. The holidays are here. Hanukkah's in full swing. Christmas is in 2 sleeps. Very exciting. And Kwanzaa right around the corner. So no matter how you celebrate today, we're doing all things holidays. So to kick things off and get you in the spirit of the season, let's start with one of our favorite parts, the food. We all know Christmas dinner is traditionally the time.
I was thought you were going to talk about your salad that you were eating.
That's okay.
All right, anyways, back to the food.
Christmas is the time, or the holidays, to break out a fancy feast, whether it's a roast, lamb, or a big bird. It's all about creating a dinner to remember. But now a new survey says that half of Americans will be outsourcing their holiday dinner and plan on ordering takeout or picking up pre-made meals from restaurants for their family gathering. And get this, nearly 60% plan to eat at a restaurant for their big holiday meal. What do we think about this?
I think people forget about the dishes. So this is why my parents are thinking about maybe they host a lot, they entertain a lot, but you spend the next 2.5 hours up to your elbows in the soap suds, right? We're cleaning, we're drying, we're cleaning, we're drying, we're cleaning. No one's talking, no one's happy, no one's excited. So I think it takes rid of that part.
I gotta call you out. I don't know if you've ever been up to your elbows in dishes.
I have, but I was wearing cool gloves. But it does. I spend the rest of my
put your laundry in the dryer and thought it came out folded.
For permanent press only.
In college.
Yeah.
All right.
I own that.
So anyways, Costco has great, it looks fancy, right, dishes, but you just throw them all away. Right?
Oh.
So you don't even have to clean it. If you want, you know what I'm talking about, Erica? So they kind of have like an upscale throwaway set.
Yeah.
So it solves your problem with your hard labor growing up.
I'm just saying, you miss a lot of the dessert. I'm scrubbing. I'm on dry duty a lot of times.
Tell that to someone that's like very traditional, and I'm not even saying someone with resources, because a lot of people are passed down China, even if it's not expensive
we
China.
have the China too.
And it's very important in that family tradition to have your nice China on the table.
Yes.
Yep,
Erica, you host almost every party.
I'm a hoster. Recently we've been doing the nicer disposable dishes, but then also a big thing is when we have bigger parties, like with our family, I don't call it a party, just, holiday, whatever, then we kind of have this system. It's almost like for anybody who grew up like as a Girl Scout or Boy Scout, you do this, it's a assembly line.
Oh,
like someone's taking the stuff off the plates, and then someone's washing the plate, someone's dipping it. So it's like the more people that we have, the faster that it goes. But I don't begrudge people for wanting to just order takeout or go out to a nice meal. Like first of all, we didn't have the opportunity to do that just a couple years ago. And I think that some people are really looking forward to just like relaxing this holiday season, because when the world opened, we didn't realize how much stuff we were doing before. So I understand if you do not want to cook a 7-course meal for your family.
To each its own.
Yeah.
To each its own. So it appears there's a debate over the correct way to eat a candy cane. A survey by the National Confectioners Association found that 57% of people eat the straight end of the cane first, 27% of you eat the curved end first, and then 16% break it up into little tiny pieces. So we each have 2 candy canes. I want to see how you all eat your cane. Oh, Erica, you're starting. How do you eat your candy cane?
Well, first you got to break it.
No.
Yes.
You break it?
I have
So you do pieces. You do pieces.
Yeah.
I get really upset when it breaks. I want the perfect candy cane, and I'm very careful when I open it.
You take it all the way off.
Oh, I don't do that.
That's not my.
I use it as a holder to hold it, and then I
always start on the
and then
big
you make a
end.
meme.
And then I make it.
You do the little end, I do the big end.
And
You do the big end?
Always.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, what do you do?
I bring it halfway down and then try to make it as sharp as I can as a weapon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You make a shiv, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to blow y'all's mind a little bit more, okay?
Oh.
Now you get a bigger candy cane, and then you get a big dill pickle, and you put the candy cane into the dill
That's the
pickle.
most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
No, this is for real.
How do you
Who
put the
out
candy?
there?
What?
Yes, you get a dill pickle, and you stick the candy cane into the middle of
No
the
one
dill.
does that.
That is a joke.
That's
Somebody does that.
not right.
I've heard of it before. I've never
You've
tried
seen it.
I've seen it.
You've seen it because I know y'all used to have those little things in Chicago where somebody's mama or the aunt had a little like snow cone station, and they would sell the pickles, and then they would sell the candy canes.
You have
and
minty pickle? That's
you walk
terrible.
around.
Okay.
You walk around the corner all day,
Don't try
just
it at
eating
home.
that pickle and the. Seriously.
Well, we're going to move on to the next beat,
Okay.
Erica. It's that time of year when you can't go into a mall or a store without hearing those familiar holiday songs, but not every song is a hit. In fact, some of the most hated songs, according to a YouGov survey, are Last Christmas, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
I agree.
Yep, agreed. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, but this one tops the list. Have a listen.
Santa baby, slip a stable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
That's a great CD. We've had that growing up, that exact same CD.
Oh, yeah.
I like that song.
I don't mind that one, but I agree.
I don't mind that one. What's your most hated Christmas song?
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. That messed me up for like 10 years.
It is a little weird, isn't it?
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I guess what she's
about
saying.
you?
I don't like all I want from Christmas is my two front teeth.
Yeah, that's a weird one. What
Well,
about
because you
Jeff?
have them. That's
I
why.
know.
Jeff, what about you? Most
can't
hated.
Follow that. I don't want to have one that I hate that
Any
I
of
get
them
angry.
bug you? Any of them bug you?
No, people bug me. Songs are okay. Yeah.
What
How
about
you?
that? The 12 Days of Christmas bug me only because I'm committed to doing the whole
All
thing.
of it.
So I'll be in the car and it comes on. I'm like, oh, and the second day, and then I do the whole thing. And I want to show that I memorized it. It bugs.
11, Lords of Leaping,
Leaping.
10, Milk's a Maid. Yeah, it's annoying.
9, ladies dancing.
8,
Lords a leaping, 7, swans a swimming, 6, geese a laying, 5, golden rings, 4, calling birds, 3, French hens, 2, turtle doves. Yeah, exactly. Pretty good.
Well, don't forget the partridge in the pear tree.
Partridge in a pear tree. All right, coming up on DBL, dealing with holiday stress can be tough, but we've got an expert here to help us set some boundaries, and a woman who was adopted as a child shares her inspiring story with us, how she's helping spread Christmas joy to others year after year.
It's happy holiday season time.
From our DBL family
To yours, we want to wish you
A happy holiday season.
A happy holiday season.
I the one day thumb.
Okay, I'm gonna read the worst.
So I
forgot where I
we're
was
still
when
gonna
I-
do a break for.
Do you want to do worst songs, or do you have
Whatever
something?
you want to talk about, I will time you. You've got about a minute 40. So.
I'm gonna read you guys some of the worst
5,
songs.
4,
Okay.
3, 2.
All right, we're reading some of the worst songs that people have said. This comes from Best Life Online. One is Please Daddy, Don't Get Drunk This Christmas. This is by John Denver. It's a little known hit. And
I kinda wanna hear it.
To be honest, the Don't Get Drunk This Christmas is in parentheses. We have to put that in there.
What does that mean?
I don't know, it's part of the song. Someone said Santa Baby by Michael Bublé, and I love that. Santa Baby. I like that song. All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. I didn't
What
love
about
that.
the Christmas shoes?
Oh, that's number 1 on this list.
I cry every
Paul
time. The
McCartney.
Christmas shoes is a little boy
I love
trying
that
to-
song. Is that mistletoe?
to buy shoes.
That's the
for
worst
mommy who-
song?
It's her last Christmas. So heartbreaking. So
Dude,
heartbreaking.
mistletoe from Justin Bieber's on there. I love that song.
Mistletoe by
Mistletoe?
Justin
How's it
Bieber.
go?
It's awesome.
Can you sing it?
I love it. No.
Wait a minute. Apparently,
Yes.
the peppermint stick in a dill pickle is a Chicago thing only.
I heard of it. There you go.
I was like, you're insane.
This is what it looks like.
Never
Can I
heard of
show
that.
it?
Yeah.
It can't. I mean,
Yes,
you
honey.
should be able to show it, right?
Well, now you're making it weird.
Yeah, you just.
You got it.
Yeah, you could show it.
It's the.
Sounds like a pregnancy
It's like
craving,
a.
doesn't
No, it's something that people.
The salty and
Yes.
pepperminty.
Behold
mint?
a peppermint stick in a pickle.
I've heard of that. I've never tried. I kind of want to try it now.
Sucker punch of crunch, salt, and sugar with nothing sane to balance it out.
That sounds really bad.
We should have tried it.
I guess.
Oh, the other one people don't like is the Oh Holy Night by Christina Aguilera, and I think it's because it's a lot of.
Actually, I think Whitney Houston's out there. That one.
What's that?
Oh, the new one's about to come out.
Welcome back to DBL. Now, an act of kindness can change someone's entire day, but for Elizabeth Groff, it changed her entire life. Growing up in an orphanage, Elizabeth constantly felt alone until a Christmas surprise showed her just how much she was loved. We spoke to her about her incredible story. Take a look.
Elizabeth, can you tell us about your life before you were taken to the orphanage? Just sort of paint a picture for us, if you can.
Sure. I was born and raised in southern part of Ukraine, and when I was about 1 year old, my father was actually killed in an alcohol-related accident. And so after his death, my mother just couldn't deal with the pain, so she turned to drinking and also became an alcoholic. And then a few years down the road, she gave birth to my little sister Tanya, and knowing that she couldn't support us on her own, she packed us up and moved us to live with our grandparents in a nearby village. And I have lots of wonderful memories growing up in a village, but my mom's drinking never stopped. In fact, over the years, it got much worse. And so I had to kind of stand up and be the head of the household at a very young age. At the age of 6, and so I was just responsible for taking care of my grandparents, my sister, and my mom. And so I just ended up going from cottage to cottage and begging for food because, you know, I was too young to work at that time. And on top of that, my mom got pregnant again, and this time with my younger sister, Ilona. And unfortunately, Ilona's life was very short-lived. She passed away just 7 months old, and that's because my mom, you know, fed her alcohol instead of milk. And when that happened, I knew that I had to protect my other sister, Tanya. So at the age of 7, I decided that Tanya and I would run away.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing your story. And it kind of puts into perspective, like, people think they have it tough in what they're doing day to day. But thank you for sharing your story. What do you remember about the day you ran away from home?
I just remember taking my little sister Tanya by the hand. We got on the bus and we left. And the bus dropped us off at a nearby city. And as we were hanging out the bus station, we eventually got hungry. So we started collecting empty bottles to trade those in for money and then use that money to buy food. And so the clerk at the nearby store called the police, and they actually took us to what we call a detention center. And, you know, our life was much better because we didn't have to worry about finding food. But after about a year at the detention center, my sister's biological father showed up. So she's my half sister. And when he showed up, he said, "I'm taking her home with me, but I don't want you because you are not my daughter." And, you know, this was a very defining moment in my life because on that day, I lost the only family that I had left. And after watching Tanya walk away, I just felt abandoned. I felt forgotten by the world. I felt like no one cared about me. But at the same time, you know, I knew that I had to let her go because that was the best that I could do for her.
Good Lord.
My heart.
I know. Breaks.
Ruth, thank you so much for your transparency with your story. I know that there's someone out there who is thinking, like, there's someone like me, someone understands me, and I think it's so important that we have you on the show. Can we talk about Operation Christmas Child? Because it's a Christian program that sends shoe boxes filled with toys to kids all over the world, and you received a box 18 years ago. So tell us about the day that you received your box.
Yes, it's been 18 years, which is hard to believe, but I was 10 years old at that time. I was living in an orphanage, and I remember the orphanage director called me and my group of students into a small room, and she told us that we were going to receive gifts from people that wanted us to know how much God loves us. And for an orphan, that's really hard to believe. I didn't think that, you know, anyone cared. And at that time, I didn't know God personally, but I had been praying on my own and just asking him to show me that someone loves me. And so that's when actually Operation Christmas Child came to my orphanage. And so I knew that that was a direct response to my prayer. And I remember they presented the gospel to us and they gave out the shoe boxes, and I finally got to open my box. And on that day, I remember just realizing that, you know, I'm not alone, that God is with me. He's not going to leave me broken and hopeless, but that he's going to come beside me and become my family. And he used that shoebox to say, "You are not an orphan. You are my daughter."
Wow.
Amen.
Holy mackerel. That's unbelievable.
I'm at a loss for words. You're unbelievable. We're so honored to have you share your story with us today. DBL Nation, Operation Christmas Child has been delivering boxes since 1993. This year, you will deliver your 200th million box. That's 200 million kids who have received gifts. So if you want to help Operation Christmas Child, visit SamaritansPurse.org/OCC. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
What a story.
Yep, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Google Flights, and taking a look at the Friday before Christmas to the Monday after. From Harrisburg to Orlando, the average price for a round-trip ticket is $734. Traveling to New Orleans is around $755. And Denver, the average price is around $774. You can see the prices are high for these trips. So what's the best time to take that getaway? Our sources? Scott Keys, chief flight expert with Scott's Cheap Flights and major airlines.
Around January 7th or so, it flips virtually overnight from the most expensive time of the year to travel to the cheapest 2 months of the entire year for travel, and that's January and February.
Keys says flights can drop in price nearly 80% in January and February compared to December. So let's compare some flights. American, Delta, and United are showing a round trip from Harrisburg to Orlando December 23rd to December 26th is around $600 to $700. Compare that to January 19th to the 23rd, it's about $200 to $300 cheaper for the same round trip. If you make the drive to Baltimore, you get more options and a little lower price. Frontier, Southwest, and Spirit are showing a round trip from BWI to Orlando December 23rd to the 26th is around $400 to $500. It's also about $200 to $300 cheaper if you go January 19th to the 23rd. Key says there are several reasons why January and February are the best months.
You've got so many families, students, teachers who really can't travel during those months because the academic calendar.
He also says there's a travel hangover from flying places over the holidays.
Welcome back to DBL. This holiday season, it's inevitable. We all feel a little bit of extra stress, whether that be at traffic, at the mall, when you're just trying to shop last minute. You guys feeling that? Well, family overstaying their welcome is also bad. Overspending on gifts is bad. The list just goes on and on. So executive coach and author Elizabeth Pearson shared some really great tips on how to make stress our friend. Take a look.
Elizabeth, you help people break out of the mental cage that holds us back. So why is this so important as we get older?
I think it's important because we're not dead yet, right? Like, I think when we're little, we have some of this external conditioning trying to tell us who we are, mold us into being a certain person. And then as we grow and we actually embrace freedoms that we have, we start to kind of refer back to those old patterns of thinking, I can only do this or I can only do that. I'm sure we all have a wonderful friend or family member that we just love and we think, God, why aren't they doing all of this amazing stuff? They're genius and they're beautiful and they're strong. But it's this mental conformity that we end up getting into when we get older. But I think it's really important to kind of identify that, like identify where a comfort zone might be, and then try to do little things differently to break free from that so you can gain some momentum and then start living this life of freedom and abundance that we all should be living.
I love it.
That is great advice.
It really is, and I was excited to ask you this question because I feel like the holidays are different. There's almost kind of two different kinds of people. There's people that show up and eat and open gifts, and there's the people that plan everything. Flights, grandpa needs this, you know, all this. So like the holidays are actually really stressful for a lot of people. So what would you say to them in terms of handling this period of high stress and so they can maximize the holidays and have fun like everybody else?
Yeah, I think first off, you can kind of flip the script and say, you know, I can take any obstacle and turn it into an opportunity. So you could say, I get to be the person that is the go-to for all of my family members who love me so much and are traveling to come see me. You know, you can always kind of like see it as an opportunity to maybe do something different than you did last year. Like for instance, last holiday season, I made a commitment not to have any alcohol. And I thought, we'll see how this goes. You know, I'm going to get to try something different. And it was wonderful. So I think if you really kind of change your perspective on it, it can be a challenge and you can get to overcome that challenge. Another really good tip is to lower expectations.
Yes.
Lower expectations for your family, lower expectations on yourself too, because I think around the holidays, if we can just assume good intent behind everybody who's around us and lower our expectations, we're a lot less likely to be disappointed.
I love it. So we're always hearing the word boundaries when it comes to protecting our own peace. So how do we create them during the holiday chaos? And maybe I have a specific for you, for me personally. What do I do when I'm sitting in a car and there's no parking spots and the guy who just got in his car takes 5 minutes and he's looking at his phone and I'm waiting for him? How do I find my inner peace during this holiday season?
I think in that specific instance, you could think that maybe he's texting somebody who's in the middle of a crisis or emergency. You never really know. I tell this story. My husband, traveled a lot and his flights were delayed quite frequently. And there was one time it was delayed like 4 hours. It was brutal. I was at home with the kids. I wanted him to get back. And it turned out when they were boarding, a guy had a cardiac arrest in line. And so we thought about, gosh, if he was on that plane, that man might not have survived. He might not have had those people there to save his life. So I think, again, assuming good intent, maybe that person is just totally spaced out, but maybe they would need to get away from their kids for 2 hours or something. And they're sitting there and they're just sitting in the parking lot. Maybe they're having, an episode of some sort and they just need some space away from everybody. So, and then know that by sending them positivity and love and saying, I hope that you're getting what you need in my parking space, that the sooner you can get to that vibration, another space will open up just for you.
I'm gonna
a metaphor for life.
I'm gonna take this clip, and then when I'm boiling, I'm just gonna be like, where's that clip? Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you. She's right. You're right.
Flipping the script, perspective can change like your whole attitude and your outcome. So I have to ask you this, because the holidays are supposed to be the happiest time. Nobody wants any conflict or to cause conflict. So what do you actually say to a person that you want to set a boundary with? What would your script be?
Yeah, well, first, I think you need to identify where you need to set a boundary. So maybe identify, I call it drains, right? What are these big drains? Is it the travel? Is it that you're going to be staying with a family member and maybe you're not going to have your own bathroom, you're not going to have your own personal space? So identify what it is that is kind of triggering the stress or the anxiety within you. And then I think have a candid conversation, maybe with a hostess or whoever's house you're in, and say, I know that you want me to be happy and joyful while I'm here, because as we know, that will spread to everybody else in your environment. So what I'm going to need is maybe from 3 to 4 every day. We cannot have any family activities. That's going to be my meditation time, or that's going to be my time to go sit in a random parking spot somewhere and be alone. But I think if you come in and you don't really try to project it on the person, like you make me feel this way. Instead, say, I've identified that I need some personal space, or I've identified that I will not talk about politics at the Thanksgiving or Christmas table, what have you. And if that does happen, just know that I'm going to remove myself, right? So I think having a boundary and really trying to communicate it in a way that this is what I need to feel comfortable in this space with you. I think everybody is going to want to honor that, and it doesn't finger point at somebody else if you just really are vocalizing what you need.
I love that, because then it saves all the passive aggressiveness, right? Yeah. It's like you just cut to the chase. This is what I need. Oh, sure, here, we'll arrange that for you. Boom. But nobody does it. Nobody does it.
If you can't do that, then I will fix it myself.
Yep.
But it really is 100% accountability. And I think a lot of times people try to hold others to agreements that they never made. But if you come in and say, this is what I need, and then there's an agreement made, then you might have a little bit, to come back with if they overpass that boundary. So I think it's just a lot of clear communication and empathy and compassion for each other.
Love it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for helping us take better care of ourselves this holiday season. To our viewers, you got to get her book. It would make a great gift. You can pick up a copy of Career Confinement wherever books are sold. We'll be right back. Thank you, Elizabeth. Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
Scammers are up to their old tricks with some updated tactics for the holidays to separate you from your money and personal information. So we're going to show you how to spot some of the most common scams using these sources. First up, you'll want to use caution when doing your shopping online. Scammers sometimes set up fake sites that look like real businesses to steal your information or convince you to download malicious software. Here's an example of a scam shopping website that we created. It may even imitate a brand you recognize. How can you know it's a scam? First, check the URL and make sure it's spelled correctly. Then, make sure you end up on a secured website, which is indicated by a lock icon to the left of the URL. Next, be suspicious of unusually low prices. Scammers hope you'll ignore any concerns you have about the site to save a few bucks. And finally, be careful if the site requires you to unexpectedly download software or asks for too much personal information, like your social security number. Scammers also know we're doing a lot of online holiday shopping, so watch out for fake shipment notifications. These are usually phishing emails or texts with links that may allow someone to access your personal information or ask you for money to release a shipment that really doesn't exist. Here's one example that was sent to us by a Verify viewer where a scammer claims their package can't be shipped because of a mistake in their zip code. It asks for some personal information and later a redelivery fee. So how do we know this is a scam? First, the link in the text message does not go to USPS's official website, which is a big red flag. Next, the Postal Inspection Service says if you never signed up for a USPS tracking request for a specific package, then don't click the link. Carriers leave an official notice in your mailbox when they can't deliver a package. The USPS also doesn't charge a fee for redeliveries. This time of year, snow can make the holidays feel magical. And for those of you in warmer climates, a snow globe might be the closest you get to a white Christmas. One Facebook post that was shared more than 60,000 times warns that some snow globes are dangerous to pets because they contain antifreeze. It tells the story of two dogs who were attracted to the liquid from a broken snow globe because it was sweet and later died. So let's verify. Do some snow globes contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze? Our sources are poison control centers in DC and New England, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and VCA Animal Hospitals. Snow globes are shipped to souvenir stores around the world, and to prevent them from freezing in transit, our sources say some manufacturers add chemicals that are commonly used in antifreeze. The most toxic antifreeze chemical is ethylene glycol, which can be deadly to pets and humans if a snow globe were to break and the liquid is ingested. It's often difficult to know what's inside a snow globe before purchasing, although some do list ingredients on the labels. So, yes, some snow globes do contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze. Our sources warn ethylene glycol has a sweet taste which can attract pets. If you think someone or a pet has ingested it, you should seek immediate medical treatment. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Hey.
We love hearing from our viewers, and some of you have holiday questions. Jessica has a question for Jeff. She wants to know, is there something that automatically gets you in the Christmas spirit?
Erica's going to like this. Maybe Mariah Carey. The first time you pop in Mariah Carey, you're in the spirit.
See?
One Verify viewer asked us by text if there's anything they can do to keep their tree fresh. So let's verify. Does adding something to the water keep your tree fresh longer? Our sources are the National Christmas Tree Association and Kathy Crawley, an assistant professor of plant biology at Unity College, who explains the trick to keeping a tree fresh starts with making sure you buy a fresh tree to begin with.
And then when you get it home, make sure you cut off the base of the trunk, just a narrow disc, maybe half an inch, to make sure that the base of the trunk is open and that water will be able to enter the tree.
Okay, but what happens once your tree is set up and decorated? The NCTA says to ensure water is always touching the base, while some websites swear by adding something extra like sugar, soda, and even vodka. Crawley says that can actually do more harm than good.
It conceivably could stop the tree from taking up as much water as it needs if you add a lot of sugar to the water. Truly, all the tree needs is basic fresh water.
So it's false that adding something to the water helps keep your tree fresh longer. Crawley says the goal of the water is to help keep the tree hydrated and delay the branches from quickly becoming brown, dry, and brittle, a potential fire hazard. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. We are celebrating the holidays with a look at some stories that celebrate the season. So we're going to begin with Martha Stewart. She may have a Christmas tree farm on her property, must be nice, but when it comes to decorating for the holidays, she prefers artificial trees. One of her tips is to put one of her own Martha Stewart brand pre-lit Christmas trees in every room in your house.
Yeah, okay.
That's easy to do.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, way to plug that one.
But that brought up the age-old debate. Do you put up a real tree or a fake tree, Erica?
Both. Oh. We have a real tree on, like, in the living room, and we have a fake tree in the bedroom. Because we're being, what is that called? Eco-friendly?
Yeah.
I know the real tree doesn't qualify, but the fake trees, we've had like a few from different apartments, and now we use them all.
It smells nice. It does. I would like to do that, but it's just a lot easier to put up a fake tree. Get one tree, keep it. They even have ones I saw online that you just set it up and you press a button and it just goes up and it's already lit. And I'm like, the future's awesome.
Lazy. I like that one. I have a Hanukkah bush, and it's a all right, and it's a very small artificial tree. I've never had a real tree in my entire life.
Is that a thing? A Hanukkah bush?
Yeah, that's what we say, and we cover it.
Don't say yeah like everybody knows.
It's a little thing, and
what happened to the menorah?
We have a menorah as well, but we cover the ornaments all in dreidels, so it's a nice interfaith mixture. But I've always wanted the smell of a real pine. Is it fir?
You can go to, well, it depends if you get a Douglas fir, noble fir, but
or a bush.
You can go to Michael's, and Michael's has natural scented fir sticks, and you can put them all over your house. I put them everywhere. So you walk in and it smells like
I got the cinnamon pine cones from Michael's.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. But you don't do a real tree?
So I grew up always going in Northern California to like a Christmas tree farm with my parents, and we would chop it down, and I loved it, and there's sap, and it's wonderful, and then you decorate it with cookies and music. But recently we've been doing the artificial tree because it's easier, but I feel a little guilty about that.
I don't think we would have the real tree at all if it weren't for the fact that our family's here for Thanksgiving, so we don't get to spend as much time with the little ones, and they get so excited about going to get the tree.
See?
And there's ice cream there.
She's right.
So it's a big deal.
What am I supposed to feel guilty about? Having a real tree or having a fake tree?
No, I feel guilty, not environmentally, because there's actually
which one's
a debate.
bad?
There's a debate.
There is.
There's a debate.
It could be the other one.
Yeah,
You're right.
I feel guilty because some of my best memories are picking out the Christmas tree.
So go
to
do
Erica's
it.
point.
It's hard.
Go do it and plant another one. Everyone,
it has nothing to do with
holiday season.
It's not about the planting
I
of the
thought people were mad about something.
No, I'm just saying I do the artificial because it's easier.
It is way easier.
What's wrong with that?
Because
Nothing.
the best
She misses the
memories
smells and the
are
real.
Chop it down the tree.
But y'all have kids at your house all the time, okay? The kids are only at our house like, I don't know, 10 days a year.
Yeah,
so if one of those 10 days we go and get the tree and they bring it home and we all walk with it together and they have their ice cream and it's like really cool for them, then I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
You're painting a nice picture.
Yeah. It's like a puzzle.
Well done, Auntie.
Nice.
Well done.
Not at all.
Okay, so we all love watching a good holiday movie this time of year, but there are some little known facts that may make you see your favorite Christmas film in a whole new light. For example, Will Ferrell was flawless as Buddy in Elf, but can you believe he wasn't initially cast as the lead? Jim Carrey was first attached to the script back in 1993, but the film took another 10 years to get made. So by that time, Will Ferrell was signed on to play Buddy. Now, when it comes to Scrooge, which is another classic, Bill Murray drove director Richard Donner crazy because he improvised most of his lines. Another fun fact, John Candy shot all of his scenes in Home Alone over a long 23-hour day. But who could forget the scene in A Christmas Story when one of the boys gets his tongue stuck on a metal pole? Well, turns out that that can happen in real life. Yeah, of course. And finally, there were multiple intertwined stories in Love Actually, but can you believe there were 4 more that did not make the cut, including one about an African couple and another about a lesbian couple.
Oh, so that's why.
So they got the cut?
Yeah, so that's why he said that it was, the director said that he was embarrassed about how there was no diversity because apparently, see, that's what we want to see. We want to see those stories.
Yeah, we do.
True. Cutting room floor.
There's a great thing on Netflix that goes behind the scenes. I forgot what the name of the show is.
How they make the movies or something.
Yeah, they did Elf and how that whole story is. And John Candy, he did that as a favor to, I forgot that famous director in the 80s.
He did Home Alone.
Oh, Hughes.
Right. John Hughes.
Is it John Hughes?
John Hughes. He did
it as a favor because he was in a bunch of movies for him. So he goes, no problem, buddy. I'll be there, and shot him out in a day.
Dang.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool. I also thought that he didn't get paid for that role at all.
I don't think he did.
Which is amazing. He spent like a full 24 hours.
Just a favor.
Yeah.
Oh, he got paid the base rate.
Oh, SAG rate. Back then, probably like $200.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. For the past 8 years, one woman has gone to great lengths to create a holiday card featuring a fake family. Bryn Schuler inserts herself in all the cards, pretending to be a mom, dad, daughter, and an emo son. She calls her family the Bryns and recreates every awkward family card from the 90s. This year, she created her card at Keystone Ski Resort here in Colorado and inserted her family members one by one on a chairlift.
That's so good.
That's very clever. What about holiday cards? Do you do it? Do you don't? Do you want to do it?
I find Christmas cards interesting because it's like Jews don't, we don't do it, so it's always nice to get a little wrap up. But I always like when someone makes it funny. I think that's a great opportunity. Like the save the date. Always make the save the date something funny. You know?
Right. Jeff, I feel like you do a Christmas card.
I was just thinking of Tori every year with her bush.
Context.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
The
sorry.
Hanukkah bush.
Listen, dirty. It's the holidays. Get your mind out of that dirty gutter.
I feel like you do a Christmas card.
I don't, and I feel bad about it. You know what I mean?
You don't?
No, because it's like
too much time to do.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a lot of work to sit there. You know what I mean? But if you want to see how we're doing, go on Instagram.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not like the old days, but people send me Christmas cards, and I really appreciate it. I put them around the house, and I feel guilty when I don't do it.
What about you, Erica?
I like getting the Christmas cards, but I also have to let people know that they probably won't be open until closer to my birthday, which is Valentine's Day.
You just leave them in the corner?
Well, because they'll come in, and then it's such a busy time. Like, I'm not really stopping down to open up mail. I'm not.
You can't open mail?
I'm sorry. Does your family cease to exist because it's January and not December? I would like to actually take the time to actually look at what's going on. I mean, that's better than just like, if I did it now, I'd just be opening it, okay, and like putting it somewhere.
I'm going to send you a link to what I put up in my house. It's like a board that says "Let It Snow" with ribbons and then clips where you put the Christmas cards in.
That's not going to happen.
Coming up on DBL, a woman finds out she's a princess while searching for her birth parents. Wait until you hear her amazing story. But first, our very funny chat with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He talks all about his new animated series.
It's happy holiday season time.
From our DBL family
to yours, we want to wish you
a happy holiday season.
A happy holiday season.
So in terms of holiday cards, I just want to be clear, I love to receive the holiday cards. Now, I do think it is important that you actually take the time to look at it. If there's something on there, you read it, but that's not going to happen for quite some time.
Oh, I take the time and I hang it up on my Let It Snow ribbon board, and I love looking at all my Christmas cards, and I keep the Christmas cards from the previous years. So, for example, the Alexander family, love them to pieces. I have like Christmas cards from their kids over like the last 10 years, and Mark and I were comparing them the other day, and we're like, look at, Maddie was like this big, and now Maddie's like this big. I like it.
See, my husband doesn't allow
Do I
that.
have a Christmas card filing cabinet?
Everything gets
Maybe
about
get some
2
friends.
weeks to sit on the counter. So, yeah, we don't generally keep them.
I love them.
Do y'all put them
But-
on the fridge, or did y'all already say that?
No, I have a board.
Oh, yours is the ribbons.
I love it.
And a filing cabinet. You missed the first part.
And then Jeff said to me, so you got to get some friends. No, that actually means I have quite a bit back home because they're sending me Christmas cards.
Yeah, that was like 30 years ago when you lived back home.
That's true. But not Los Angeles. I have many of my Los Angeles friends sending me Christmas cards.
It doesn't sound like it.
I do.
Sounds like the Alexanders are at the
Jake
top
and
of that
Allie, Alexis.
Tori's at the wall.
Oh,
You're at the wall, Tor.
I can't wait for
So I don't know. You guys aren't pumping me up about Christmas cards because if I send it to you, it's going to be forever. And if I send it to you, you're never going to look at it.
Well,
No,
at least
I'll
you'll
look
be
at
hanging
it in
up
a month.
forever.
I'll look at it.
I put mine
In January? That doesn't inspire me.
Yep. You can be on my let it stay.
Welcome back to DBL. If we had to lay out a list of accomplishments for our next guest, we'd be here all day. Not only is he the star of your favorite movies, but now he's the executive producer and star of his animated series on Apple TV+. Check out our very funny conversation with Joseph Joe Gordon-Levitt. You'll get it.
Welcome, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Good to see you. And we're told that we can call you Joe now. Like we've evolved, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're Joe.
You were told that. You can call me whatever you want.
Okay.
Joe, Joey, Joseph,
Joey.
Jose, Giuseppe, Yossel.
I'm going with
anything.
I'm going to go with Joey.
Okay, I'm going with my favorite, which is JGL.
Okay.
So we are so excited, though, about this current project of yours. Not only are you the EP, but you play Professor Luxcraft in Wolf Boy and the Everything Factory. And I just wanted to know, did you come up with this idea, or is this your version of the universe's creations? Were you doing a ton of drugs with it? Like, what was this all about?
There you go. So this was decidedly not my idea, actually. This is me identifying a good friend of mine and a brilliant artist and saying, you deserve a TV show. What would you do if you could do anything? His name is Toph Masri, and I run this creative community called Hit Record, and he has always been this exemplary artist in our community. He's a brilliant writer and musician and illustrator and animator, just like this virtuoso artist. And when I said, what would you do if you could do anything? He came up with Wolf Boy and the Everything Factory. Wow.
What a story.
I like it. So, Joe, I'm going to call you Cutie for the rest of the interview.
I didn't say you could call me Cutie. I said Joe, Joey, Jose. There's lots of variations on Joe's. I didn't say Cutie. Come on.
I'll stick with Jose. No, never. Now we just offended you and everybody else. All right. You've been in countless projects. What makes a role a success for you after you complete it?
That's a cool question. One of the things I look for is, can I watch it and not see myself? Because part of the goal as an actor is to sort of transform yourself. And you saw the picture of Professor Luxcraft, the character I play in Wolf Boy and the Everything Factory. I'm this like wizard with a lavender beard. I mean, I never thought that I would get to play this person, So in that way, I think this role is a big success for me.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like Dumbledore vibes.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so I got to talk about 10 things I hate about you. It's such
we got to.
It's one of the most, in my opinion, lovable and quotable movies. It's a classic. Is it true, though, when the opportunity came around that you didn't want to do it? Why?
It is true. When I was 17 years old, when that movie came around, all I wanted to do was act in Sundance movies.
Yeah.
I've been on a sitcom for years, and I just wanted to do more serious, whatever that means, serious things. And 10 Things I Hate About You came around. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. And folks were like, yeah, but it's a pretty good version of what it is. And I was like, I don't care. I don't want to do it. And I went kicking and screaming, to be totally honest. And boy, was I wrong.
Your movies are the kind of movies that make you feel different. Like you feel like your senses are different after you watch them. And I wonder, how does this affect you? Like, which movie of yours do you think manipulates the senses the most for the viewer? Which movie do you think most people get into?
Wow, I love the manipulates the senses.
Yeah.
That's a really cool way to put it. I mean, okay, I am going to, this isn't just a stock answer. I do think Wolf Boy and the Everything Factory has a certain kind of psychedelic appeal that reminds me of what you're talking about with manipulating the senses. I mean, look, it's a movie for children. I think children are in touch with their senses in a way that some of us adults have forgotten. And, you know, I'm a dad, and hanging out with my kids and just going to Storyland and playing with our imaginations, it's one of the greatest joys in my life. It's something that we don't do enough as adults, I think. And that's, I think, why this show is something we always wanted it to be, something that kids would like watching, and also their parents and adults would want to watch it with them. I think a lot of stuff that's made for kids nowadays is frankly just annoying.
Yeah.
It's so hyper stimulating and kind of over the top, and like I cringe when I see it, and I'm worried about a generation of kids that's raised on these kind of hyper shows. And Wolf Boy is something that I think it's not shrill like that. It's not hyper. It's beautiful and it's sincere, and it's made from somebody who's, like I said, Toph, who's the creator of it, and all of us who are supporting him are people who love the child inside and want to find that in ourselves.
We appreciate you, Joe. We love having you here. And to our viewers, get excited because all 10 episodes of Wolf Boy and the Everything Factory Season 2 are available to stream now on Apple TV+. And make sure you check out the creative community on hitrecord.org. It's so good. We'll be right back.
Bye, Jose.
Thank you.
Bye, JGL.
Bye-bye. Bye, cutie.
Come back.
Yeah.
This is Google Flights, and taking a look at the Friday before Christmas to the Monday after. From Harrisburg to Orlando, the average price for a round-trip ticket is $734. Traveling to New Orleans is around $755. And Denver, the average price is around $774. You can see the prices are high for these trips. So what's the best time to take that getaway? Our sources: Scott Keys, chief flight expert with Scott's Cheap Flights and Major Airlines.
Around January 7th or so, it flips virtually overnight from the most expensive time of the year to travel to the cheapest 2 months of the entire year for travel, and that's January and February.
Keys says flights can drop in price nearly 80% in January and February compared to December. So let's compare some flights. American, Delta, and United are showing a round trip from Harrisburg to Orlando December 23rd to December 26th is around $600 to $700. Compare that to January 19th to the 23rd, it's about $200 to $300 cheaper for the same round trip. If you make the drive to Baltimore, you get more options and a little lower price. Frontier, Southwest, and Spirit are showing a round trip from BWI to Orlando December 23rd to the 26th is around $400 to $500. It's also about $200 to $300 cheaper if you go January 19th to the 23rd. Keys says there are several reasons why January and February are the best months.
You've got so many families, students, teachers who really can't travel during those months because the academic calendar.
He also says there's a travel hangover from flying places over the holidays.
Welcome back to DBL. When Sarah Culberson set out to find her birth family, she discovered that she's a real African princess. Earlier, we spoke to her about this surprising news and how it changed her life forever. Take a look.
Oh,
Princess Sarah Culberson, Lady of Boomkay.
Yeah.
Welcome to DBL. I can't getting that. I saying that I had chill.
Yes, my sis, Sarah. Hey, girlfriend, how are you?
I'm so good. It's so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you too. You always knew you were adopted as a baby. So what led to you seeking out your birth family?
I wanted to know more about my biological roots. I wanted to know who I look like. I wanted to know medical history. So I had all these questions I wanted to get answered. So that's what kind of led me. Oh my gosh, these pictures are fabulous. Oh, photos, they're so funny. But that's what just led me to want to find my birth family.
That's amazing. It's just like, 'cause I want to hear about the day that you found out you were a princess, because everybody always goes, in a past life, I was told I was a king. You were a princess in this current life. So, like, when did you learn about this, and when did you finally speak to your birth father?
So I learned about this in 2003 and went to Sierra Leone, met my birth father, met the whole tribe, and was welcomed by hundreds of people singing and dancing.
What?
And then oh my gosh, my father gave me this beautiful green African dress. And when I arrived, all the women of the village came forward wearing the same green dress that I'd been given. And I took my parents who adopted me to Sierra Leone. My dad and my birth father were just in that last photo. And everyone started to work together after this war, which was pretty incredible. We've been working in public health, education, technology, and female empowerment with our nonprofit, Sierra Leone Rising.
I want to ask you, when you were able to talk with your father, with your birth father, did he have a reason for why he gave you up for adoption?
Yes. So my father had gone away to school and found out that my birth mother, who was a white American, she was pregnant and he didn't know. So he went away to school, found out. She said, "Don't worry, Joe, I'll take care of her." So she kept me for 9 months, and then she said, "Okay, this is too hard." He said, "What should we do?" And she said, "I think we should place her in adoption to give her to a family who can give her what she needs right now."
Wow.
And he said, "Okay." So that's why they chose to do that, which I think was very selfless and pretty amazing.
Wow. Can I ask you, I know this is going to sound sort of easy question, but it's a little bit deeper there. What does being a princess mean to you? I mean, how does it speak to you personally? Now, did it change you overnight? Were you like a different person?
For the longest time, actually, I didn't even claim the title, to be honest. And then I started to talk to people in my life and they said, "Wait a second, this is important. This is your lineage. This is heritage. Little girls need to know that we're descendants from African royalty and people who look like you, right? We are descendants from kings and queens, and to shift the narrative of just being descendants from slaves." So what it means to me is responsibility, walking in my family's footsteps, and working together to make sure this country moves forward in a powerful way.
Sarah, I have a hard-hitting question. Does the DMV need to be notified when you found out you were a princess? Because I would want that on my license.
I swear I was going to ask that.
Royal Highness?
Yes. Is that real?
You're funny. I thought about that. I'm like, should I change this? What should I do?
Yes.
I don't have it on my license yet. No, not yet.
You got to get it on.
And by the way, I don't even think you need to take a ticket. You just go to the front.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, your story is being turned into a live-action Disney movie. Wow. Of course it is. How will you be involved in this project?
I'm actually an executive producer. Wow. I'm a consultant the whole way through. I will play a role in the movie as well. My background is in undergrad and graduate school in classical theater. And I get to work with these amazing women. We're all working on this, all women of colors.
Before we let you go, since we're talking to African royalty, there's been a campaign to boycott Viola Davis's film, The Woman King. It's getting backlash for being historically, quote, inaccurate. So what did you think of the film?
I thought it was incredible. And I think that historically, there are so many different stories. There are different lenses we can see. And this was a lens about women warriors and being uplifted. We have seen so many slavery movies, and not that they're not important, but it's re-traumatizing over and over again. And I think that this movie is incredible and what we need, to be totally honest.
Thank you so much for joining us, Princess Sarah, DBL Nation. You can support her nonprofit. We have it on the screen right here, Sierra Leone Rising, by visiting sarahculberson.com. Again, Princess, it was lovely to meet you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Scammers are up to their old tricks with some updated tactics for the holidays to separate you from your money and personal information. So we're going to show you how to spot some of the most common scams using these sources. First up, you'll want to use caution when doing your shopping online. Scammers sometimes set up fake sites that look like real businesses to steal your information or convince you to download malicious software. Here's an example of a scam shopping website that we created. It may even imitate a brand you recognize. How can you know it's a scam? First, check the URL and make sure it's spelled correctly. Then, make sure you end up on a secured website, which is indicated by a lock icon to the left of the URL. Next, be suspicious of unusually low prices. Scammers hope you'll ignore any concerns you have about the site to save a few bucks. And finally, be careful if the site requires you to unexpectedly download software or asks for too much personal information, like your social security number. Scammers also know we're doing a lot of online holiday shopping, so watch out for fake shipment notifications. These are usually phishing emails or texts with links that may allow someone to access your personal information or ask you for money to release a shipment that really doesn't exist. Here's one example that was sent to us by a Verify viewer where a scammer claims their package can't be shipped because of a mistake in their zip code. It asks for some personal information and later a redelivery fee. So how do we know this is a scam? First, the link in the text message does not go to USPS's official website, which is a big red flag. Next, the Postal Inspection Service says if you never signed up for a USPS tracking request for a specific package, then don't click the link. Carriers leave an official notice in your mailbox when they can't deliver a package. The USPS also doesn't charge a fee for redeliveries. This time of year, snow can make the holidays feel magical. And for those of you in warmer climates, a snow globe might be the closest you get to a white Christmas. One Facebook post that was shared more than 60,000 times warns that some snow globes are dangerous to pets because they contain antifreeze. It tells the story of two dogs who were attracted to the liquid from a broken snow globe because it was sweet and later died. So let's verify. Do some snow globes contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze? Our sources are poison control centers in DC and New England, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and VCA Animal Hospitals. Snow globes are shipped to souvenir stores around the world, and to prevent them from freezing in transit, our sources say some manufacturers add chemicals that are commonly used in antifreeze. The most toxic antifreeze chemical is ethylene glycol, which can be deadly to pets and humans if a snow globe were to break and the liquid is ingested. It's often difficult to know what's inside a snow globe before purchasing, although some do list ingredients on the labels. So, yes, some snow globes do contain a toxic chemical used in antifreeze. Our sources warn ethylene glycol has a sweet taste which can attract pets. If you think someone or a pet has ingested it, you should seek immediate medical treatment. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Hey, just stop by.
Welcome back. We have some time for some viewer questions. Tori, this is for you. Olivia wants to know, how are you going to celebrate Hanukkah this year?
Well, I have an old school, very family heirloom menorah. Bless you, my love. We put it in the window, and we light each candle and say the prayers, and Brooks kind of mouths the prayers. And then we open up little presents, and we sit by the fire with the dogs.
Nice.
Isn't that lovely?
Do the dogs get presents?
Of course they do.
Okay, good. I was going to say, that's not nice, Tori.
Of course.
From all of us here at DBL, we hope you have a happy holiday.